September 7th, 1996, Tupac Shakur approached Orlando Anderson at the MGM over a dispute at the mall just days before. A chain was snatched. The Death Row chain was snatched. Tupac approached him, swung on him, stole him. Death Row members came over, stomped him out. The retaliation later on that night, gunshots, Tupac Shakur to the passenger side door, ultimately cost him his life. All over a chain. What's up, y'all? Your boy CJ City here. And on this episode, we're gonna talk about the evolution of the chain. Not just the gold rope chain, I'm talking about the customized rapper chains, the label chains, the initiations, the fake chains.
Man, so you telling me you ain't scared? Bro, I'm my daddy, fool. I bet we finna put it to the test.
Don't be lying on your daddy now.
You count.
And also the violence and drama that come with them chains. When rap first hit the scene in the 1980s, a lot of rappers and rap groups would try to dress differently and do things to stand out. It started from like the gold rope chains from Biz Marquis, EPMD, Slick Rick, Rakim, and also Flavor Flav. Flavor Flav probably brought the attention to the chain when he got the big clock.
Flavor Flav is the son, public enemy #1.
The clock was a signature piece. It was part of Flav's identity. He carried it on his whole career. He even brought it on the show with him 20 years later on Flavor for Love. That clock is how we identify Flavor Flav. He's not even a rapper, he was the hype man, but he was so popular, hyping up with that big clock on, you just couldn't help but see it. I bet y'all ain't know this. The reason why Flavor Flav wore that clock, because they dared him to wear it on stage during the show in Jersey in 1986. We opened up for the Beastie Boys. And then the next day in multiple newspapers and magazines, Flav seen himself in the picture with that clock, and everybody loved it. It turned out to be a dope idea. That one inspired people like Chug Rock, who had the Superman pendant and that big giant R that stands for rock. Then you start to see guys like Raekwon with the tarantula chain. That was one of my personal favorites. I thought that was crazy. The tarantula had the diamonds on the body and on the legs. It was gold. It was around his Cuban link chain, like you seen on his first album, Only Built for Cuban Links. And this brings us to the mid-90s with that iconic vibe cover of Death Row Records. Dre, Snoop, Suge, and Pac, and that Death Row chain. It's so legendary to this day. Snoop ain't even had a Death Row chain on. He had a dog bone chain, which I thought that was hard too, because that's like a signature chain for Snoop. That's one of his first signature chains, was the dog bone. That Death Row chain Pac had was so legendary, it started a whole wave behind it. So a combination of that Vibe magazine cover and Pac's All Eyes on Me album cover pretty much was showing the initiation of Pac and Death Row.
I thought you knew.
So that was 1996. 1997, 98, here come the No Limit Soldiers. Master P, Mystical, Fiend, Snoop. Snoop had a Death Row chain and a No Limit chain. That's legendary within itself. Who else? We got Mr. Magic.
You see this platinum tank? This the new No Limit.
Moby Dick, Mia X, Silk the Shocker, C Murder. No Limit came in the game going crazy with that iconic tank. They dressed in all fatigue. I know y'all remember that picture. I don't know if it was Vibe, what magazine that was, when they was all in fatigue and they had on their No Limit tank chains. Then in the same city, from 97, 98 to the 99 and the 2000, you got Cash Money chains with the dollar sign, Cash Money Millionaires. We all know, we knew the videos, Juvenile, Big Timers, get your roll on.
Everybody get your motherfucking roll on.
That's when Lil Wayne was really Lil Wayne. Young Turk, and you got BG, that Cash Money, the Hot Boys. Come on, man. We all wanted to be like the Hot Boys. If you grew up in that time and you was watching BET and MTV, you wanted to be a Hot Boy. I used to go to the convenience store and buy a bandana and roll it around my head. They used to sell the fake Cash Money and No Limit chains in like 7-Eleven. A couple of my friends got them. I ain't gonna put them out there. Around the same time Cash Money was coming off the ground with their chains, 3 6 Mafia and Hypnotized Mind was in Memphis with they Hypnotized Minds medallion. They actually collabed on a song in the year 2000 called Play It While You're Hating. When you see Lil Infamous of Hypnotized Minds, his chain swinging, you see Juvenile throwing his Cash Money chain up, you can tell this was the era of the chains, man. Shortly after that, what we know now is Rock Nation, which is pretty much the Illuminati, was Rockefeller Records. And that Rockefeller chain was something special. That's one chain I always wanted too. I always wanted the DeathRow chain, and I always wanted one of the Rockefeller chains. I remember I was talking to one of my friends who went to a Jay-Z concert, and he was all the way in the back. He said, man, Jay-Z came on stage, I couldn't even see Jay, but I definitely seen that chain. That junk was shining throughout the whole stadium. Y'all remember what that chain looked like? It was a record player, and with the R and like the music note. Remember Kanye West had to rap his ass off. He had to produce first and be a great legendary producer. Then he had to start rapping just for him to get one of them rock chains. They definitely made that man earn that.
Who made this?
He did this.
He didn't make this, because these are the chains we used to make. I know the work.
Rockefeller, then guess what? When 50 Cent came in the game, we already talked about 50 in multiple episodes, how he had one of the craziest runs ever. The G-Unit had to come with a chain, right? It was a spinner chain. Spinners at the time was when your car stopped and your rims kept spinning. It was a big deal back. It was some Bam ass shit, but it was a big deal back then.
I feel like in the hood, two things that people always will feel like they would die for is they chain and they name.
So that was G-Unit around 03, 04.
It was the G-Unit spinner. A motherfucker was in Chicago. One of the my man, you know, I don't want to say no names, but one of the dudes, homies, took the chain. He's in Chicago. You know what I mean? And he got caught slipping. You in Chicago with that big ass chain on?
Then right at that little time, we went down to Texas. Mike Jones, Paul Wall, Slim Thug, DJ Michael Watson, Swisher House. And that Swisher House chain came in the game right behind 50. I thought it was always cool how they did the initiation, like with Kanye's initiation to Rockefeller, right? They put the chain on his neck in Chicago, his hometown. That was real cool.
And I'm the newest member of the Rockefeller team.
They wasn't done with Ye though. They brought over Twister, they brought over Cam and Dipset. Cam wore the Rockefeller chain, I think from what album cover, I'm not sure. Was it Come Home With Me? Somebody looked that up. He had it on like a magazine shoot, but he would wear the rock chain, but he also had a Dipset chain with the bird. And that's when him and Jim Jones and Jewels and Freak.
But I had the in the full Nelson, so now when these niggas is trying to shoot me, I'm aiming this motherfucking nigga up to all the hammers, you know what I'm saying? So I must have had the nigga so tight, the nigga swung his body to the side, and that's how my shit was open, and he hit me, boom, bow.
They always had them joints on. If you remember Jim Jones' Certified Gangster video, that's the first thing you see. We ride on that east side. And also, under that Rockefeller umbrella, you had State Property, Beanie Siegel, Freeway, Askino, Emilio Sparks, the Young Gunners, y'all, PD Crack. I ain't gotta go down the roster, you know what it was. They had the SP chain. And they rivals at the time.
LOX. What up? Sheik Luke, Jada Kiss, House P.
Who was actually under D-Block, had they D-Block chains. Then we can come back down to Atlanta. 1017 Brick Squad with Gucci, Walker, OJ the Juice Man.
You know that's a Jew man. Oh, the Jew.
Frenchie, Woo the Kid. Gucci definitely had his gang flossed out at all times. Port of Miami's own, Ricky Rose. Started his legendary label MMG, Wale, Meek Mill, Styley. What happened to Styley? Do anybody know what happened to that? Anybody? Hey y'all, what happened? What happened for real? What happened to him? I'm about to see if we can find this. But back to the joke. The MMG chains was cranking. The MMG pendant was designed after the Maybach emblem, which was fly. You know, Ricky Rose always got some fly going on. And aside from the label chains, rappers also had their own personal chains.
80 grand just to see the Jacob go TikTok. I'm so materialistic.
Everybody remember how Jeezy came to the game with the Snowman chain. Nas had the QB chain. Pac had the Angel of Death chain.
I'm trying to bring 1989 back. I was broke in 89. Plus they had me in jail for a year for a crime I didn't commit, so they locked me in chains. I'm gonna come out and turn the chains into diamonds.
Fab had the San Francisco emblem, the SF chain. Remember Pharrell had the Gucci link chain with the different diamonds and different colors. It swagged it out completely. Big Sean had the bow, bow, bow. He had them chains on there. They was like an onomatopoeia. I don't know what was going on with that. How about y'all remember Gucci, Bart Simpson chain?
Bart Smokey? Why you Smokey?
Gucci was trying to put the J at the Bart mouth like he already not hanging from your neck, man. Y'all remember his old Hood Affairs freestyle when he was pretty much covering his whole stomach? Like, that jump was crazy.
My chain look like rainbow. Shout and licking at me. I think that The monkey.
When 2 Chainz, formerly known as Titty Boy, rebranded himself, he pretty much wore 2 chains and took the pendant out of it. He started a whole nother trend of just going back, a little less is more, I guess what he said, just going back to basics. And more recently, Mr. Champagne Poppy himself, Drizzy Drake, spent $600,000 on twin pendants of Tupac as a Jesus piece. And it looked weird a little bit because I don't know what that's made from. Is it gold? Is it marble? Is it fiberglass? Whatever it is, you know it's expensive because it's Drake. But all chains are not created equal. You see what's going on. There's a lot of guys that have been caught with fake chains. Like guys be having the diamond testers going around testing your chain. That's disrespectful. You shouldn't be doing that. But also, them diamond testers be playing games because you can change the setting on it to make it look like your chain fake or whatever. But that's a whole nother story.
You see these dancing, man. You talking about?
Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Hold on, you're not getting on the stone.
Oh, okay. I'm getting on the stone, bro.
Plies. Big Sean actually admitted to having a fake chain. Rick Ross got caught with a fake chain.
I'm just saying, it just came off of Rick Ross' neck. The only thing was real was a diamond cut ropey chain.
It's endless guys. Jacob the jeweler
Came to the realization that your watch was fake.
was giving guys fake Rolexes in the 2000s. So you already know the chain game was just probably crazy flooded with a bunch of false flag and shit. Akon just made it right with French Montana because he gave him some fake jewelry. It wasn't a chain, it was a watch.
Me and French got that day. Only difference, I'm the one that lost money. I bought 2 of them watches, one for me and one for him.
Akon gave French some fake jewelry and they just got that situation together.
Okay, so you in the jewelry store, you see the watches. This guy says to you, "Hey, I could give you that."
Yeah, don't spend that money. I got you.
This is not Canal Street.
It was Canal Street.
In the battle rap world, shout out to Smack White and URL. Jack Boy Maine was caught wearing a black wealth chain, which people realized was sold at Walmart and wasn't real. So the guy he was battling named John the Don went on Walmart's website and bought the same chain that Jack Boy was wearing, and it was fake. And they made a show out of it. He threw it into the crowd. Safe to say Jack Boy Maine lost that battle.
You want your chain back, Jack? Go get it!
That was more for play. That wasn't that much of a serious situation, but it definitely can get sticky, get real unchy when it comes to these chains. I know y'all remember back in 2005 when Gucci and Jeezy was beefing. A lot of people think that Jeezy just sent somebody to rob Gucci. Nah, Jeezy hopped on a track, stayed strapped, when he put out a bounty on Gucci chain.
Real talk, nigga, and I want that motherfucking bullshit ass icy chain. Cause you need to take that monkey off, you embarrassing us, nigga. Matter of fact, real talk, I got a bounty on that nigga, 10 stacks, man. You know Jesus paid.
And we all know what happened after that.
Go dig your partner up, nigga. I bet he can't say shit.
Gucci never lets us forget the fact that happened. I remember back in like 2012 or 2013, when Migos was performing at Stadium Club in DC, they got their chain snatched. They ended up putting like a $100K bounty out to get their chain back. And popular DC rap artist Ant Glizzy knew the guy who took Quavo's chain. In 2015, Shot Glizzy was in Memphis. Situation break out in the club. Y'all know the song. Broke boys had a scrimmage.
But we got into it. That ain't never snatched my chain off my neck. He ain't never come up to me, approached me on it. He approached me, I pushed him, we got into a little scuffle. My shit came off, but the niggas that was telling me to top in, them the niggas that had the motherfucking chain the whole time. So like,
they don't care what happened, how your chain got off your neck. If it's off your neck, it's off your neck, man. And it's almost like it's your manhood gone. That's pretty much how it goes in the rap world. And because it was in Memphis, Shot Glizzy and Black Youngster fell out over that. Glizzy was actually affiliated with CMG until that situation. Y'all remember Young Bird? He goes by Hitmaker now. Remember he had that Optimus Prime Transformer chain? That got snatched by Detroit rapper Trick, who kind of like be shaking everybody down. He got his chain snatched and he was smacked by Mano.
Oh, he just banged and slapped me.
So he had to change his name to like Hitmaker so nobody recognized it was Young Bird.
I asked him what. When I asked him what, that was an opportunity to change whatever he was saying.
At the Hip Hop Awards, the same Hip Hop Awards that Jeezy and Ross got into it, Jeezy's bodyguard run up on Ross, push him back and take his chains off. Simultaneously, his label mate Gunplay, who had an online beef with 50 Cent and G-Unit, they walked past the G-Unit trailer, they beat his ass and take his chain. It was just a bad day for MMG that day. It was one situation with Waka Flocka.
This guy up, man. What you got to give me, bro?
He had a Wild Wild West gun chain and it went missing. It was worth $25,000. Somebody 4 years later reached out to Walker in his DMs and said he found the chain. Walker flew that man out and paid it for the chain. So that was respect. Let's love on that situation. Then you have NBA Youngboy, who somebody broke into his belongings and took his chain. Then somehow, some way, Jay Prince ended up with it.
I got your keys to your Rolls Royce. I got your keys to your McLaren.
I don't know what is going on with that, but
you got something for me? Man, they got plenty around me you could call. Man, it's plenty ways you could get in touch with me. Man, don't get on no internet and do nothing publicly. Don't do nothing dealing with no publicity, none of that.
Yeah, and people getting so bold nowadays. Atlanta rapper Young Nudie was on stage performing. Somebody was tugging at his chain. He fall back and he swing, like about to swing on him, man. Y'all gotta chill. Y'all be doing too much.
2016 already wrapped up.
Boy, don't play with me. Little boy.
Come on with that, man. Come on. Where you thought you was going, man?
I'm good.
The evolution of the chain has always been interesting, and what it became and what it is now. Right now, it's not significant no more. Snoop Dogg giving out Death Row chains.
Eli, I would like to present to you this Death Row chain.
Eli Manning, like.
Thank you. I'll look good in that.
It used to mean something when you had a label chain or even your personalized chain. It was like a trope. It was something significant. It's supposed to represent you. It's getting kind of corny nowadays, man. We should bring this significance back. Slack time. My Uptown allies, y'all know what's going on. Slack time. Subscribe, like, and comment. Hit the notification bell. Hashtag UPTAF. Let's get it.
Watch, this is my watch. My dad gave it to me. We want it. I saw him take a ring too.
What up? Uptown Alley Fashion's hot drop of the week. We're gonna do something a little different. Got a website I want y'all to go to. GotTheDrip.com. I was gonna say www. You don't gotta put in www no more. Just put in your search bar, GotTheDrip.com. They got 3 featured brands on the website. They got Plush, Gabos, and Have Not. You check out the website, they got book bags, leggings for the ladies, and Plush got a hot seller on the website. It's a white sweater that says Plush Lifestyle on there with black letters and outlined in blue. If you keep scrolling, you see Gabos got a tank top they featuring. And if you continue to scroll, you can check out some of their artists they putting out there, featuring Marquis and Ben Ola.